witches. If you are new here, hello, my name is Brittany, and happy motherfucking New Year! Yes! How was everybody's New Year's Eve? Would you guys guess that I was laying in bed all day today? Because it got rough last night. A whole mixed pack of high noons to myself. Yikes. So today's video is so exciting because it's the best of beauty for 2021. These are all the products that I either tried, fell in love with, knocked my fucking socks off. You guys get it. I do these every single year along with every other beauty creator on this platform. So we're going to go through some jewelry, hair stuff, makeup, skincare. It's a whole thing, but if you guys love this video, don't forget to give a big thumbs up and also subscribe, click the bell, turn on your notifications. We have a lot of stuff to go through, so I'm not going to waste any time, but make sure you guys are following me on my other socials, okay? And friendly reminder that this video is live, so if you're watching or new to my channel, all of my videos are in live stream format. So, all aboard the Hot Mess Express, everybody, and let's dive into the best products that I tried or fell in love with or still loved. It's just a lot of shit that I love, okay? So let's start with some skincare, because I feel like I have not really a ton of skincare. I even put perfume in here as well. Let's just start with that. We'll do skincare first. Okay, so the first thing I have, you all know the obsession with Tatcha, okay? So I think that, right, this launched in 2021, the Rice Wash. It's basically their everyday, like, gentle cleanser, if you will. This I use every morning and every night. It is what every fucking face wash wishes that it was. Because this is just, it's got, like, the tiniest amount of, like, I don't want to say exfoliation because I feel like that could freak people out. It's very, very gentle on the skin, but it has almost like a paste consistency to it. So, like, when I work this onto my face, it lathers up really nicely if I mix in, like, a little bit of water. But this one, it just gets, like, everything off my face. I think it's improved my skin texture. It's just the bomb. It's so good. I feel like I've talked about this a lot this year. Anything Tatcha, there's a high percentage of a chance that I'm going to love it. The Dewy Skin Cream is still my favorite, but that was not new. I've been using that for years. I think that this was the one that just really, like, grabbed my attention this year. And like I said, I don't really have that much skincare anyways. So the fact that I was just like, oh, okay, great, it's Tatcha, and it launched, I think, this year. The next thing I have from skincare is the Desi Skin, the CLARKE Vitamin C Serum. Here's the dealio with this one. If you're looking for something that I think is going to, like, brighten or basically, like, reduce the appearance of, like, pigmentation, because I feel like that's what most people use, like, a vitamin C serum for. Basically, like, the brightening, or, like, you guys, I feel like, know I have, like, that scar right here, and I have a new one forming up here. I don't think that this does anything for that. The main reason why I love this is because I think it looks incredible underneath makeup. Like, I think it makes my makeup lay even better on top of it, because it almost gives, like, a skin smoothing appearance, but I don't notice a difference as far as brightening or anything like that. It's more of, oh, when I wear this underneath makeup, my skin looks even better. It's bizarre, but I do really like the consistency of this, the texture of it. The packaging is beautiful. I was expecting something, I think, totally different from Desi Skin, but I love just the whole fucking aesthetic. It's so good. So this is actually, I just saw Tracy ask that I finish it. I've used a whole one. This is my second one, and I have a third one that's, like, already waiting for me to open it up. So the only downfall with this one I'm going to say is, because this is, like, such luxury packaging, it's very difficult to figure out, like, when you're about to run out of it, because this packaging is so heavy. So I feel like I go through it kind of quickly. I usually only use, like, a pump to a pump and a half, because sometimes the pump doesn't, like, spray out enough product, if that makes sense. So I really do like this. I don't know if it's going to change everybody's life if they were to try it, but it's like, if you wanted to try it, I think it's worth a shot, especially if you have textured skin like I do, because that's where I really feel that I notice the differences, but it's more of for makeup purposes, you know? So that was, oh no, I have one more product for skincare. This is another one. I can't remember if I bought this, like, 2021 or 2020, but the Fresh Rose Deep Hydration Oil Infused Serum. This stuff, I swear, like, whenever I hear other beauty creators talk about this, I'm like, Finally, it's so fucking good. Like, if you've tried the original, like, fresh toner with, like, the rose petals in it, this is so much better because it makes my skin texture feel more almost, like, softened. And I want to say pillowy, but that's not the right word for it. I think just softened overall just makes the most sense because, like I said, I have a lot of texture on my face. So when I have my skin feel softened by something like this, it just makes the texture not seem as bad as it actually is. Either way, I love this. I also love the fact that it has like the oil in there because I think it helps with the hydration on my face as well. So if you have drier skin, you should definitely give this a go. It's so good. I don't know why more people either don't talk about it. I love the way that the fresh products smell as well. It just smells like fresh roses, and just like the packaging, everything is so nice. But when you do use this, you want to shake it because you'll see like as it sits in your counter, like it'll start to separate because it has the oil in there. Either way, this stuff is magic for my face. I think it's fantastic. And I love it. And that was like the main skincare items that I had for this year. I didn't really have anything knock my socks off, at least that I could think of, because I was basically going through like everything and I'm like, yeah, these are the standouts, and that's pretty much it. Besides the Dewy skin cream, not serum, the Dewy skin cream. The Dewy skin serum is fine. Let's move on to some hair products because everybody's always asking about my fucking hair. So the first thing I'm going to mention is the hair colors that I use. I have tried several this year, and Arctic Fox is still my favorite. I do all of like my fashion colors. I do them myself. I had a shampoo and conditioner. Mostly the shampoo that I love this year. It's from Celeb Luxury, and it's called like the Viral shampoo because it's basically like a color depositing sort of a shampoo. But this hair dye, I swear, like I love the way the Arctic Fox smells. I've been using this for years, so this isn't new. But since I've tried other ones, like Manic Panic is the green that's down here. Manic Panic fades significantly faster than my Arctic Fox. Why am I frozen? I'm frozen again. Can you guys see me? Oh, no. I'm having issues. I think you can hear me, but you can't see me. Guys, this cable... I need a new cable. That's why you can't see me. Hold on. Technical difficulties, the beauty of live streams. Like, this is the type of stuff, I think going into 2022, you might start seeing me do more filmed content just because the amount of times that I have technical difficulties lately is just ridiculous. Whether it's YouTube, whether it's my camera, just a bunch of different stuff that kind of goes into lives that's making this a fucking nightmare, like every single time. Can you see me now? No, it just was there. I just altered my focus, so hopefully that didn't fuck anything up. Guys, I'm sorry. Oh, entertain yourselves. You guys can like the video if you're feeling froggy. I think it's this cable, though, because I have to position it, like, a very specific way on my camera. Oh, how annoying is this, everybody? I'm sorry. Get a new cable. I know. That's where I'm like, I don't even know if it's the cable, even. I'm assuming it is, just because. Come on, work. Come on, work. Come on, work. See, it might even be my camera. The fuck. Are we back? Ah! I gotta move back a little bit. Okay. Hopefully we're good. Oh, another day. Another fucking drama with this camera. Okay, we good? All right, let's go to another hair care product. I was basically finished talking about Arctic Fox. It's the bomb. It's still my favorite. Now we have Olaplex. I have tried every product from Olaplex. I have a dedicated like TikTok to Olaplex, but this was new for this year. And when I was blonde, this is just another level when it comes to a purple. Basically, like if you're getting rid of brassiness, it's straight up like dark purple. So this one, I'm going to say, see how purple that is? If you have blonde hair and you have a lot of brassiness and you're not afraid to try something new, or you wouldn't be opposed to it if your hair ended up turning purple, this would be one that I would try. Just because depending on like the level that your hair is at, how blonde you are, all that sort of stuff that goes into it. Like my hair gets very brassy. So this one, I'm a huge fan of Olaplex. I think a lot of their products are definitely worth the money. This is one I'm like, it's worth a shot. if this is like a product that you're looking for. Obviously, not everybody needs something like this. So this is the Blonde Enhancer, the toning shampoo. It's great, but just proceed with caution with that one. And then the last thing I have for my hair care stuff, like this is still like fucking showstopper. The best product that I've ever purchased for my hair. And I feel like everybody and their mother got one of these for Christmas this year, it seems like. Whether it was from somebody else or for yourself. The Dyson Air Wrap, still the GOAT of all hair products. Like, if you're ever wondering how I style my hair, I did get the straightener this year. I don't think the straightener is really, like, blowing me away because I don't really straighten my hair that much anymore, especially when I think my hair looks so much better when I use the Air Wrap. Like, I love that, like, blown out type of look. So this is still, like, if I had to pick between the straightener or the Air Wrap, I'm going with the Air Wrap. I think if you have really curly hair, like, I don't want you to think that I don't like the straightener. I'm just like, okay, for $500, it works perfectly for me because my hair's not that curly. Like, my hair is relatively straight. I basically just need the straightener to, like, curl the edges and stuff like that. If you have, like, really, really curly hair, it, I don't think would be worth it for you. But I would recommend, like, watch people's videos that have curly hair, just so you can kind of see how it works. Because I've heard the biggest complaint is, like, basically, like, the battery time on it. If you have really curly hair, like, you're going to have to charge it, like, midway through straightening your hair. So, this, for me, the Air Wrap is still that bitch when it comes to hair care products. And then really quick, I do want to mention jewelry. This is not sponsored. I've been working with this brand all year this year, or like a majority of the year. Ana Luisa jewelry, hands down, like my favorite jewelry of 2021. Especially these hoops right here. These are the Paris hoops. I got these cute little studs. I need to get like more of my ear pierced. But Paris and Sparkle. The Sparkle ones are... It's basically like a tiny hoop, but then it has like a chain detail on it. I get so many compliments from something like as simple as hoops. Ana Luisa fucking killed it for me. I think that they have a Valentine's Day sale coming up within like the next few weeks, I'm pretty sure. I'll be posting about it, don't you worry. But Ana Luisa, for me, they just have like the perfect like dainty looking jewelry, and it's not heavy, but the quality of it is incredible. So Ana Luisa, definitely recommend. And then lastly, before we get to makeup, I have to mention this perfume because I cannot stop comparing everything to this. I cannot stop wearing it. The Kilian Love Don't Be Shy. This is easily my favorite perfume of 2021. I tried what feels like a ton this year, but this one, I'm just like, everything is compared to this. Everything is not even like close to how I feel about this one. Even like Angel Share, like I really like that one. But Love Don't Be Shy, I got a crazy deal on this for like a gift set at Selfridges this year. I basically got this in a little travel size for my purse for less than what you would pay for just the full size bottle. So this is a brand, it's very expensive, but I think after like comparing other fragrances to it, there's something so much more luxurious, and just the way that they formulate theirs, they smell expensive. Like they smell like they would cost a lot of money. So this one, easily my favorite. I love Kilian fragrances. Princess is next on my list. I love them. So let's dive into makeup, because this is where we're going to be here for a while. So I'm going to basically go in the order that I would apply things. I did not feature any palettes for this one because I already did my dedicated like top palettes of 2021. If you guys want to watch that after, it's only palettes in that video. If I were to feature palettes in this video, we would be here for like 5 fucking hours. So I basically skipped eyeshadow palettes. This is all like complexion, lip products. You get it. Everything except for eyeshadow palettes. So I'm going to start with eye primer because that's typically what I apply first. I've tried, I think, 3 or 4 different eye primers this year. And the Gerard Cosmetics, the Clean Canvas Eye Base, is still my favorite. Like, there's something about the formula, the longevity that this gives my eyeshadows, but also the fact that this cancels out everything because it looks like a concealer. Like, I think it's even got concealer in the name. I don't like to use this as like an under eye concealer or on my face. This is strictly for my eyeballs, and it's the best. It makes everything look so much better. Everything just looks like, especially when I do like colorful looks, because it cancels everything, it just makes everything pop. It's so fucking good. So this is the shade medium. My favorite one is fair, but they have a light one, they have a white one, fair, medium, and deep, I believe. So there's 4 different ones. This one I think launched last year, but it's still my favorite. That's why I wanted to mention it, just because you guys saw me try like quite a few this year, and I'm like, nothing tops the Gerard Cosmetics for me. Oh my god, Tammy, you need to try it. And Michelle, I know. Princess, I just keep waiting for it to come to Sephora. Alright, so moving on from eye base, I'm going to go over to like complexion, because normally I do like my eyeshadow and then I'll start my complexion. So let's start with some primers. I have, I think, 3 or 4. 3 of them. So 2 of them are actually kind of similar, and I want to preface this by saying I like high-end luxury makeup. I'm pretty sure like everything that I'm going to talk about today is considered high-end luxury. When it comes to drugstore, I'm too much of a packaging snob. This is more for people that don't follow me and aren't really sure, like, what I look for type of thing. My skin concerns are, like, texture, hydration. I have a light medium skin tone with neutral undertones. So when I'm using primer, I look for something that's going to be basically, like, a skin tune sort of effect. Like, a blurring primer or something that's just going to make my skin feel like it's getting moisture. It's getting that, basically, like, filter on it. That's very much my vibe. There's one that's coming out, which is so fucking bomb, but I'm going to mention that in a future video. I'm not going to feature it today, but you guys may have seen a brand start teasing a new primer, and it's that one. Or a new product, and it's a primer, and it's that one. So the first one I want to mention is the Gucci, the Silk Priming Serum. This is not going to be for everybody, simply because it's very, very fragrant. I feel like that's the one downfall of like luxury beauty is there's so much fragrance, which for me, having more like reactive skin, it doesn't bother my skin at all. But it's basically what I like about this one so much is how it feels on my skin. It has like a serum texture to it. It feels hydrating. It feels like pore minimizing kind of, but it's not one of those pore minimizing primers that it's like, it feels like it's like clogging your pores. It's almost just giving you like a really nice canvas to work with. And then I wanted to mention both of these because I've tried both. I love them both. They kind of remind me of each other, and they're both expensive, but one is significantly less, because if I had to pick a favorite primer of 2021, it's definitely the Sicily, which this, fortunately for me, was a gift. And I love this. Like, I wanted this for the longest time because I kept getting like little samples of it, and I was like, all right, I hear everybody talk about this. I feel like this really blew up like when Jaclyn Hill started talking about it. But this, I even feel like Tati's raved about this one quite a bit. They're like, I feel like this is the one that a lot of like celebrities, you know, like the bigger beauty influencers, and everybody's probably like, there's no fucking way it's worth $200. I don't know if I would say it's worth $200, but that's where, like, the Gucci and the Sicily, they remind me a lot of each other, except they smell a lot different. And I think that the Gucci has almost, like, that sort of, like, blurring property a little bit more. But there's something about how, like, thin this is and how effective it is. I really enjoy both. But I know they're both so expensive. But I do, like, if I were to compare them side by side, if you guys would want a video on that, let me know. I feel like I would still go with Sicily just because it doesn't feel as heavy as the Gucci. I think the Gucci does have, like, a certain heaviness to it, but overall, I barely feel it on my face anyways. I'm wearing the Gucci one today, so if you guys like this whole shindig that's going on my face, that's how it all started, was with the Gucci. The next one I had this for a while, and I never really knew how to use it because I'm like, I am not like a skin tint bitch, okay? It doesn't give me enough coverage. I like a like light medium coverage. This is very like light sheer coverage, but then this was recommended to use it as a primer. And I started using this, the Chanel Le Beige, the Water Fresh tint. So basically what I did today was I put the Gucci down first to really get, you know, that moisturization going, and then I put the Water Fresh tint on top of it. I know, very expensive, so excessive. But I regret nothing because look at how good my skin looks. So this one, I think that this has, basically you get like a little bit of coverage from it, but it gives you very much like skin tone sort of effect. And since this has a little bit of coverage to it, you'll really see where it makes the difference. So when you put it in your hand, you don't really see anything. It's got like little like speckles of color in there. But when you rub it in, you're going to see where it has that slight bit of coverage to it. But if I were to put this all over my face as like a foundation or like a tint, it's not going to be enough for me. So since I do my makeup a very particular way, it's just something, it's like an extra step. But when I don't do it, I notice a difference. So it's a lot of, for me, like minimal product, but building in very specific steps to get my face to look the way that I like it to. So for some people, it's going to be excessive and they don't want to be bothered. For me, it doesn't bother me at all. If anything, it's just like I rub it on my fingers, I rub it on my face, and then I'm set to go to my concealer. So then for concealers, I had to mention my Dior because I compare everything to Dior. This is still my favorite as far as just giving me like, I'm going to say like medium coverage, but it has a really beautiful skin-like finish to it. But Tom Ford launched the Shade and Illuminate concealer this year, and I know this is so expensive. It's like $90. I regret nothing. This is the one that I'm like, why did I try this? Why did I do this to myself? Because now I'm going to want to buy it every single time it runs out. This is what I'm wearing today, is the Tom Ford. Again, medium coverage, gives you a very skin-like effect to your under eye. And I just think it looks, like, it makes my textured under eyes look a lot more youthful. But I do feel like I have to set this one more than I can set the Dior. Like, Dior, I feel like I don't even have to set, and it just looks beautiful. I think this would be a close toss-up of which one I like better, because I still think, even though I love the Tom Ford, I love this packaging, like, this feels very luxurious, I think I would still go for the Dior, though, just because better price, still amazing, great shade range. Like, this just has literally everything, and it's available at Sephora. The Tom Ford is not as easily accessible as the Dior. I love them both. I would still repurchase them both, but if I had to pick between the two for those obvious reasons that I just stated, I would probably go with Dior. Let me roll up my sleeves a little bit, because, guys, did you see my new Spirit jersey? Ah! It's so good. Okay, what do I have next? After concealer, I go to, like, my cream contour. So, I did a video comparing these two products, and it makes me mad, because I'm like, I love the KVD, the liquid gel. It's like the Mod Con liquid gel contour. This one reminds me a ton of the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood contour wand, except I do notice that I use the contour wand so much more. Like, I still will reach for this. This is just, I want to say, like, best of beauty, because it's the closest thing that I have found with a better shade range that compares to the Hollywood contour wand. So I think especially if you have deeper complexion and you wanted to try this, but it doesn't work for you, I would definitely go for this one. But if you have, like me, my skin tone, you like how my skin looks. I'm not wearing this one today, but this is 100% like my most used. I use this all the time. I think this is like my third one of these. They sell out so insanely fast. So if you see this come back in stock and you've been wanting to try it, I think I'm going to link everything down below. Or if you guys want anything like linked in the comments, just let me know. But this one, it's like as soon as it comes back in stock, it's like, run, don't fucking walk, because it's going to sell out within like 5 minutes, because that's what it always does. And then for other contours slash cream bronzers, I was gifted this one this year, and I'm like, damn, this like introduced me to like a whole new level of like luxury makeup that I'm like obsessed with. So the Westman Atelier, what is it called? The Face Trace Contour Stick. I have the shade Biscuit. I also have Terra, but is it Terra? It's the deeper one. I have that from the mini, like the little mini collections that they did for holiday. Biscuit is like the perfect contour for me because it has like the perfect amount of coolness to it, but it's not too cool. So this is, I think, like a true neutral. It works so well for me, especially since when I get like leaning towards cool tones, it will look like mud all over my face, and this is the one that I have on my face today. It looks very natural. I have found that I really like using these products, like drawing them on my face. I'll spray my face and then blend it out from there, just because I think it helps blend it a little bit more, because it's slightly a more tough formula, but this is so fucking good. And I love this packaging. I love the magnetic closure. I love the fact that it's clean beauty, even though I don't really think it makes a difference for me, but clean luxury beauty at Sephora. fantastic. And then I think that this brand probably surprised me the most. Like, I always felt like I would probably like this brand a lot because of, like, the makeup aesthetic that I like. Cosmetics, what are these called? The So Soft Face Play Bronzers, I think these are called. So I picked up the shade Summer initially, and I fell in love with this. I used the shit out of this one. You're going to see that Summer is definitely more, I'm going to say more warm toned than Biscuit from Westman Atelier. And then when I got a little bit darker, I wanted to have the shade Terra, which I feel like this one is borderline too dark, but I could still make it work because of how easily that these blend out. So you've got Summer, and then what the hell is this? Terra. Those are the Cosmetics, and then this one all the way to the right. Or, I don't know if it's your right or left, but that one's Westman Atelier. So these ones, I'm like, all right, if you struggle with contour and you just want to make it a little bit more approachable, a little bit easier, and you want even, like, more flattering looks to your face, because I think creams and liquids look so much better on the skin, I would go with Cosmetics or Westman Atelier. Significant price difference between the two, but I still regret nothing because I love them. And then after, like, cream, bronzers, contours, I would go to my foundation. So I was going through my drawer and I'm like, which ones did I try this year? Because I don't feel like any, I don't know, like, when I was just thinking back, I'm like, I don't think I, like, fell in love with any, but then I looked at my collection, I'm like, yeah, I'm full of shit. Because I feel like the one that I heard the most hype about, and then I was like, all right, let me try it, see if it's worth it. And I ended up working with this brand this year, so they did send this to me. The Chantecaille The Future Skin. This is so good. The only thing that I would change about this if I could would be the packaging. I don't really love a foundation that's in, like, a pot packaging. I much prefer, like, a pump, something like that. But this foundation is incredible. I like a very natural skin-like medium coverage, and that's exactly what this gives to me. So basically all the ones that I'm going to recommend are going to have, like, that sort of a vibe to it. Next one is the Dior Forever Natural Nude. I think this launched exclusively on Dior's website, if I'm remembering correctly. This might be available at Sephora now, but I had to get this through Dior back when I could actually purchase through Dior. So I have the shade 3.5N. So you haven't seen me wear this recently just because it doesn't match my skin tone. It's definitely darker. Like, the foundation I have on right now, it's, in my opinion, like, darker than my actual complexion is, but I make it work. This one, it has lighter coverage than I like, and it's so funny because I hated this when I first tried it. Now I love it. This was one of my favorites from this year. Again, same type of coverage, basically everything that I look for. It has that. And then I done fucked up when I bought this because I bought a shade that was way too dark for me, but this is, like, peak of summer. I could get away with this, but I can see myself buying another bottle of this because the way that this looks on my skin, it looks incredible. And it's the Tom Ford, the shade in Illuminate. I picked up the shade number 7, Tawny. I'm like, why did I think that this was a good idea to get this shade? It's fine. You can pick this up at, like, cosmetics company store for, like, significantly less. I think, like, half off is what I got this for. The only thing with shopping at cosmetics company store is check the expiration dates, because some of the products that are available in those stores are incredibly old. I'm sure if I were to look up this one, it would be, like, years and years, like, past its due date. But I was like, all right, if I want to try this, like, the next time that I buy this, I'll actually buy, like, a fresh bottle from another retailer, probably, like, Nordstrom. But this one, again, same type of coverage, everything that I look for. And then the one that excited me the most, one was because it's one of my favorite brands, and 2, I've never found, like, a skin tint that I've ever actually liked until Tower 28, the Sunny Days Broad Spectrum SPF 30 Tinted Sunscreen. This is what I'm wearing on my face right now. This is going to give you more coverage than what you would think, like, a tinted moisturizer would give you. That's why I like this so much, because it feels very light on the skin. I think this is super ideal for, like, summertime. I think that they just named it very appropriately. But this is more of if you like something, basically like me. I typically like a foundation This, to me, feels like a foundation. I think a ton of people picked this up during the last Sephora VIB sale because it was relatively new when that sale started. I love it. The shade that I'm wearing today is 35 Point Doom, which I feel like I could go lighter for like what my complexion is now, but this is exactly what's on my face, and it just looks beautiful. So this one was definitely a favorite and a very unexpected, because I was like, shit, because they usually reach out to me like when they're launching new stuff, so they'll usually send it to me like as it launches or right before it launches. So I was like, oh fuck, they're launching a tinted sunscreen. But since it was Tower 28, I was willing to try it, and I'm like, maybe I need to not be so like salty when it comes to these products, because it really surprised me. I thought it looks like, I think it looks incredible on the skin. Really, really beautiful. Those are all of my foundations. After foundation, I would typically go for probably powder, but maybe I'll do powders because there's only 2 of them. The first powder I wanted to mention, where is it? It's the powder that I use basically all over like the T-zone area, I guess you could say. I prefer a loose powder, but I'll get into a pressed powder next. The Hailey's Beauty, the Retouch Soft Focus Setting Powder. I say this every time I talk about this. I never noticed the difference that it made until you guys, like, I was applying it in a video and everybody was like, what powder is that? Because your skin looks incredible. So ever since then, I've used this, not like exclusively, but I always reach for this. Like, the only thing that would make this better for me is if it had like luxury packaging. But I love this one. I think it's such a good powder. So I usually like to do like my loose powder, and then I've kind of recently started switching up my routine after seeing a TikTok. So I do more powder than I used to, but I think it makes my skin look even smoother. And that's where we'll talk about my finishing powder, which this is the product I think made me fall in love with Chantecaille. So this is the Flower Power Perfect Blur Finishing Powder. And I am obsessed. Like, I feel like you can't see truly like how much of this that I use. So I basically like to do all of my makeup. I'll spray my face and then I'll put this on top where my face is like almost dry, and then I'll spray my face again, and it just, like, look at my face. I just think it makes my texture look so much better, especially like forehead and my large pores right here. I feel like ever since starting to do this after seeing that TikTok, it's like made me look even better. Like, my complexion looks even better. I'm so humble, I know. So those are my powders of 2021. I could easily get rid of like all of my powders. Maybe not the Hourglass one, but everything else I'm like, nah, those were like my shit this year. They're so, so good. But yeah, if you've tried the Chantecaille powder, let everybody know how fucking amazing it is. Because that's where I feel like it really did change the game for me when it came to Chantecaille. So I was like, there's no way it's worth that. It's no way it's worth the hype. And boy, was I wrong, because it's so fucking bomb. All right, let me do, what do we have? Let me do cream blushes. We'll do that first. Let me talk about, since we already talked about the Cosmetics, the bronzer sticks, we got to talk about the blush sticks as well. I feel like these are getting a lot of hype on TikTok because Michaela started talking about them. But when I first tried the So Soft, I think they're called the Faceplay, the shade Passion, I love an orangey cheek moment. Like, burnt orange is such a vibe for me. As soon as I saw the swatches of this, I'm like, I need that. Fell in love with this one. I picked up another one. So I picked up the shade Bitten as well. These are just, to me, like, they're so different. But if you're not as well versed with cream blushes, these could be a little bit intimidating because they're so pigmented. So when I use these, I'll basically like run my brush over the top very sparingly because of how much pigmentation they have. But it's mainly the shades and how easy the formula blends is why I like these so much. So I still highly recommend these, even if you're not as experienced, because they do blend. It's just be very careful like how much you use. But these cream sticks, Cosmetics fucking killed it with those. And then we have the Makeup by Mario. This is the Soft Pop Blush Stick in the shade Earthy Pink. This is basically like a cream version of one of my favorite blushes that I'm going to talk about for this year. This one I had no intention on buying from this launch, and I was like, all right, I want to try something from Mario. And I fell so hard for this shade. I think that this is my most used cream blush of 2021. Just because I was like, there's something about the shade. There's something about the sheen. There's something so beautiful, skin-like, very youthful looking on your skin. I like this packaging a lot. It kind of reminds me of the Nude Sticks packaging, except it's just white instead of black. So that was a favorite of mine. And then we had the Melt Cosmetics, the Cream Blush Light in the shade Polished. This was actually gifted to me for my birthday this year. This is the cream blush that I'm wearing today. I think that basically like the shimmery versions I do like more, because I have one other shade, but I like this one more than I like the other one. Just because I think when like blushes, see how it's got that beautiful sheen to it? It's more, I'm going to say like shimmery, but don't let that fool you, because it's like when you see this on my face, it doesn't look shimmery. It's just something when I think blushes have this like almost like, yeah, like a shimmer to it. It looks so flattering on skin. At least that's just like a my preference thing. Like when I use a cream blush that's a matte, I don't think it looks as good. Like, again, it's just preference for me. So this one, I am definitely favorable towards like the shimmery ones versus the matte versions, but that's just me in my humble opinion. And I have to mention more Tower 28 cream blushes because I love this formula so much. So they came out with, I think, 3 more this year. So there's the shade Power Hour, After Hours, and also Rush Hour. I think my most used of these 3 was After Hours. This kind of actually reminds me of Bitten from the M Cosmetics one. I'll give you guys some swatches so you can see. But this formula, I just love it so much. But just like I said with the M Cosmetics ones, they're very pigmented, but these are going to give you more of like a dewy look to your face. They have no shimmer in them. Oh my god, if they would come out with shimmery versions of these, I would like lose my shit. This is the shade Rush Hour. This is, I think, one of the lightest shades. But it's got like an orangey, peachy sort of a vibe to it. My favorite is still Golden Hour, but since they launched the new shades, I'm like, ooh, easy way to add these into my favorites of 2021. Because I still love like all the originals. This shade though, I love blush shades like this. Even though I don't wear them a ton, but when you blend these out in your face, they look so good. And I love like that dewy effect that these have. But then we had a new brand come out in 2021, and I think that this definitely got the hype of all of their products. Like, I thought all their products were, like, fine, but the LYS Beauty, the Higher Standard Satin Matte Cream Blush, this is another one. I'm like, if they would do, like, shimmery versions, I would be so excited, because I have the shade, I think it's Confident. This is just, it's something to me, like, I feel like this looks so basic, but for my collection, this is unique. Because I usually go for, like, the orangier tones or, like, the coral sort of a vibes. This one, I was like, all right, let me get this just to try the formula. But this actually reminds me of a more mattified version of the Tower 28. Like, this doesn't have the, it doesn't have that dewy finish. But the shades, and everybody fucking loved these. I think these sold out for, like, a pretty good amount of time. So, I mean, the hype was definitely there. I was not prepared, but I was like, ooh. Because I love the Tower 28 so much, it made me way more interested in this. And then the fact that it's like, all right, if you like something that's not as dewy, or if like the Tower 28 was too dewy for you, I would go for the LYS one, because the formulas do feel almost like comparable. So that was all of my cream blushes. Now let's talk about some cream highlighters. Creams and liquid highlighters. Then we'll get into like powder sort of products. So, first one I was gifted as well. The Westman Atelier, the Lit Highlighter Stick. I was just like, oh wow. Like, it's so pretty. When you see it, it looks like it's white. When you put this on your face though, it has such a beautiful, I'm going to try to lean back a little bit so you can see like the reflect. It has the most beautiful like iridescent purple shift to it, especially for being like a cream. But one thing that I think is so like unique about this is because it's got that iridescent shift to it, but it doesn't have like any sparkle to it. It looks almost like an iridescent dew on your face. It's so fucking beautiful. And it's the same sort of a packaging as like the contours that we talked about. Super luxe. Love that one so much. Every time I see this one, I'm just like, I think of my friend that gave it to me. It's so beautiful. So then we had Lisa Eldridge. She launched her blushes and highlighters and the Seamless Skin Highlighter. This is for, I think if you have more like mature skin or if you like a very subtle highlight that has like no shimmer. Because this one, I think it's comparable to like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, except this doesn't have coverage to it. And it's even more skin-like, I think, because it doesn't, I don't know, it's like, there's no shimmer to it, but it looks so nice on the skin. I don't even know if it's going to translate. See how it's got that just, like, illumination, if you will? Super, super pretty. Very, like, natural, everyday. Basically, if you want just, like, that highlighted effect, but you don't want something as intense as, like, what I have up here, where it's, like, a lot more sparkly. Almost like a more subtle version of what I have on like the apples of my cheeks is what I think you'll get from the Lisa Eldridge. But if you want something that's a little bit more, has a little bit more coverage, and this is a universal type of product, I would say go with the Auric Glow Lust. I feel like this is the closest thing that has come out comparable to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, except this formula is a little bit thicker, I think, than the Charlotte Tilbury, but let me give you guys a swatch of this as well. I like to use this as pretty much, for me, this is like a strictly like face highlight with the Hollywood, the Hollywood Flawless Filter. I think I could use that one as a primer. This is, you could use it as a primer still, but like I said, it's a little bit thicker, so it doesn't feel as invisible. But when I use this on the high points, it just brings everything to life because it has that beautiful sheen to it. And it does have a little bit of coverage. So basically think of like a thicker formula of the Hollywood Flawless Filter. And I think that that's exactly what you get. I think if you're a freelance artist, you would probably like this one more just because of the packaging. Like Auric is over there killing it. Like giving you luxury quality packaging at, I'm going to say like a high-end price point. Because their stuff is still more expensive, but I think that definitely like makeup artists would like that just for packaging alone so much more. And then there's also the Vive the Skin Dew. I feel like there's another one right now that is getting quite a bit of hype on TikTok, and I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not for sure if they're exactly the same. I think this is one of the most beautiful highlighters like I've ever seen. I would love to see Vive do more like shades of these because the finish that this has is incredible. So I'm just going to swatch it on this side. It basically feels like, to me, do you see how shiny that is? It's so intense, but here's the thing. This feels like a lip gloss. Like, as far as the formula, it smells amazing. It smells like sugar cookies. But this one, it's got shimmer. So it's got that sparkle, but it has that dewy effect as well. It looks like this in the summertime is such a fucking vibe. It's so, so good. But the Refi one, I feel like, is getting a lot of hype on TikTok. If you've seen that one, I think that this is going to be something very similar to that. Oh, but it's so good. It's so beautiful. I was like, all right, am I ever surprised when Vive launches a banger product? No. But I was just like, oh my god. So when you look at all of these, like, side by side, see how much more, like, subtle and natural these ones are? Whereas this one, you're going to get way more of, like, bam in your face. This almost gives you, like, that sweaty look. And it's fucking everything. I love it so much. But you've heard me rave about all of those, but nothing is as good as these next ones I'm going to talk about. Like, they're so expensive, and I regret absolutely nothing because I'm like, these need to go viral. I am consistently talking about these on TikTok because I'm like, if you have textured skin, if you have mature skin, if you love the way that my face looks right now, Westman Atelier, baby. These super loaded tinted highlighters. And oh my god, I cannot get enough of these. I think that they're so fucking beautiful. The fact that they're like $75 a piece and I bought both of them. There's one more, but I think it's going to be too deep for my complexion, maybe in the summertime. But the fact that I bought both of these within like a month period because of the VIB sale, I regret nothing. So I have Peau de Rose. This was my original one. This is the one that's on my face today. So it's got a very like slight pinky hue to your skin. And then there's Peau de Peach. Peau de Peach, I'm going to be posting a TikTok on, like showing how I apply it on my face and everything. The more that I'm using these, because I was saying like I like to apply these with my beauty blender. I have found like within the past like week or so, I actually like to apply this to, like, I apply it to my finger, I'll tap it on my face, I'll put a little bit more on just so you guys could really see. I saw Erin Nicole. Look how fucking gorgeous that is. I saw her do that in, like, a recommendations video or, like, her haul video, and I'm like, add to cart. Did not even give a flying fuck. So that is Peau de Rose. So I basically like to apply it like that so I can get that really, like, intense look to the face. For a highlighter that has sparkle, this is the most flattering I have ever tried. And then I basically like to run a beauty blender over like the edge to just blend it into the face just a little bit more. So I think it looks a little bit more seamless because I just don't really like to apply makeup with my fingers. So I find that I can still apply it with my beauty blender to get that nice precise application. But if I want more basically like a bang, I'll apply it with the finger first. So let me give you guys a swatch of Peau de Peach as well. They look so unimpressive until you do that. And then you're just like, oh, it's really beautiful. It's so, so good. But the main thing that I love about these, though, is the fact that if you have textured skin and you like a sparkly highlighter, these will absolutely work for you. Tracy just asked, it has sparkles in it. Very, very, like, micro sparkles. So I don't want you to think it's, like, filled with sparkles. It's totally not. It does have just, like, a little bit. But you see, look at how fucking gorgeous. So you got Peau de Peach on top, and then Peau de Rose on the bottom. I am favorable towards Peau de Rose just because of my preference. But this one, Peau de Peach, I feel like looks lighter. Like, when you apply it to your face. But look at it. Just look at it. That's all I need to say. Those were absolutely my favorite highlighters of 2021. I'm just like, everybody needs to try these, especially since I know like my audience is definitely more like with the experienced skin, mature skin. I'm telling you, they're fucking fire. Worth every penny. I would even pay more for these. Like, that's how much I love the way that that looks, just because of what I look for. So these, and the fact that you get these little dust bags, like, super luxe. And when I tell you that these could be a weapon, listen. Do you hear how loud that it, like, these are like hockey pucks. They're so good. Highly recommend. Could not rave about them enough. That was everything for my face highlighters for creams and liquids. Now I'll do some bronzers, then we'll get into blushes and highlighters. So bronzers, we have quite a few this year, surprisingly. So the first one I wanted to mention, this was not new this year. This was kind of new for me. Actually, it was new. I think I bought it at the beginning of this year. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang! The Gucci Beauty. This is the Eclat Soleil Powder de Beauté. It's the bronzing powder. I have the shade number 3. This one's slightly a bit too dark for me right now just because I'm definitely a lot more fair. But I could still make this work, especially for like the complexion color that I have on right now. So with this, I feel like I've talked about this a ton. I think it has a more like natural looking finish, which is, that's what I look for. It leans a little bit more matte, but it has almost like tiny specks of sparkle in it, so it gives you a little bit more radiance to it. But this one, mainly because of the packaging, is why I love it so much. I love just the whole like aesthetic of it. And then Hourglass came out with their ambient lighting, the Universe Unlocked, and then the Universe palettes. I love both of these, but I reach for the light version way more just because of the bronzer mainly. But it's got the, I forget what the name of this powder is. Does it say on here? The Infinity Powder. So you got Infinity Powder, 2 blushes, basically like a highlighter sort of a shade, and then a beautiful bronzer. I love this palette mainly for the bronzer, and I also really love the Infinity Powder. But with the darker palette, I love these blushes because I feel like for Hourglass, these were so different compared to like what they usually offer. If this palette had that other bronzer, this is the only one that I would have bought. Just because this, to me, like, I did a video, like, dedicated to comparing the two. The standouts for this palette I felt were the blushes, whereas I feel like the bronzer from the other one just kind of goes better because I think that this was more geared towards deeper skin tones, so I would have liked to have seen the deeper bronzer in this palette. I love this packaging. I know a lot of people said it looked like bacon, but I didn't give a fuck. I loved it anyways. So those were two of my favorites. And then a recent one for me, like, I think all of the palettes from this brand are fucking fire. But I picked up the Scott Barnes, the Contour palette this year. Still relatively new, but I love just how different the shades are in here. If you're a makeup artist, this would be one of the bronze, like, contour or bronzer palettes. Because I think you could use this for bronzer and contour. This 100% would go in a kit for me, just because I think his undertones are just so unique, and the fact that I could, like, mix colors together. I love Scott Barnes makeup. Totally biased, but I don't even care. And I do have, actually, two of those shades on today. What shades did I wear? I think I mixed Frame and Carve. So these two were the powder contour for my face today. But I like how different. I think he's a fucking genius when it comes to makeup. And then we have Chantecaille, the Real Bronze, and the shade Serena. This packaging, I wish that they would do, like, higher quality packaging just mainly because of how expensive their products are. But this is what the bronzer looks like. This, to me, is more of just, like, what I look for in a bronzer because unlike the Gucci, this has, like, a sheen to it, which is what I just like. It's my preference. I like that better. So if this had, like, Gucci packaging with this formula, would be pure perfection. It's just the packaging was not my favorite, but aside from that, this formula was beautiful. I actually have this on, like, the crease of my eyes today. And then I think that this one was my most used of 2021. The Vive, the Modern Bronzer Duo. I have the shade Medium. And I use this so much. Like, I cannot believe I have, like, no dent, no nothing. I use this so freaking much. I have this on my face today. I typically like to mix them together, but for today I just used the lighter version just because, again, I'm a lot lighter than I typically am. So this one, it gives you that natural looking finish to the face, which I love. It doesn't have shimmer. It doesn't have anything like that in there. There's something about the way that Vive does complexion products that look so beautiful on the skin, and this was no different. And I love this packaging. I love the fact that they did the plastic packaging for this. I wish that they would do this for, like, all of their products, because I think it more of, like, matches the aesthetic and also matches, like, the price range. Vive is one of my favorite brands. Y'all know this by now. But another one that surprised me this year, I think it's a fantastic palette. I would just say it's more worth it, like, at a discount. And that's the Charlotte Tilbury, the Nude Gasm Face Palette. Did y'all see the Beauty Light ones came back in stock yesterday? So my favorite thing about this palette is honestly the two bronzers, which I was not expecting because I do not like her, like, full-size bronzer. I don't like that formula. So these two for me are definitely more, like, contours, but I can get, like, everything that I want out of this palette. I think it's just a really well-rounded palette. I would love to see her do, like, more products like this, but just different, because I think all of her face palettes, like, look relatively the same. Packaging, though, was beautiful, but if I were to go back and do it again, I don't think I would pay full price for it. If you can get, like, 20 to 30% off, it's definitely worth that, in my opinion. But let's talk about some blushes, because I was going through my drawers, and I'm like, this was the year of fucking blush. Between cream blushes and powder blushes, I lived my best life. And let me show you why. First one I have, actually from a brand that was, like, on fire for me this year, the Nars, the Basic Instinct No. 2 palette. So this just has, like, your typical Nars packaging, but this, how beautiful. Like, I love oranges. So this one you get two shimmers. This one's more of, like, it's got, like, a tiny bit of shimmer in there, and then you have, I think this is the shade Torrid. I love this. This was, to me, the best palette that Nars did in 2021. I know that they did their other, like, almost like baked gelée, like the, I think they did like not summer solstice. They did 2 of them recently, like one for holiday. They just launched another one, and then there was another, like at the beach, I think was the other one. This one was my favorite just because I think that they're so much easier to use. All of their other palettes, I feel like I have to really like dig my brush in. These, absolutely not. It's like the formula for me is different in these ones opposed to those other palettes. So I think that these were available like exclusively at Ulta for a minute. I think that these are on the Nars website, but Nars was killing it for me in 2021. But if I had to pick a brand that I went ham sandwich for this year for their blushes, it's Vive. I bought every single shade because first of all, the aesthetic, I love it. But how these look on your face is incredible. My most used this year was, shockingly, it was Cherub. Where is it? It's so different from what I typically go for. Like, it's like a bright pink. I'm going to show you the shade of it. But these, like, look at how different for everything. Like, when I say I like a corally blush, orangey tone, and then I'm like, oh, my most used was probably this one. Makes no sense. But because I love this so much and how good it looks on the face, they're just very, very pigmented. If you're not a blush heavy sort of a person, you probably won't like these unless you use like a super, super light hand. But this is where I'm saying, I think that the bronzer packaging is just so much better than this like cardboard packaging. But the finish of these Vive, they're super skin-like. There's no like, I don't know. It's just like, it looks like it's just meant to be on your face. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just beautiful. Love them. Okay, my next one, I think I did one of my favorite looks of 2021 with this one, and it's the M Cosmetics, the Heaven's Glow Faded Clementine. Like I said, I love orangey tones, and there's something about this formula, like this definitely has that very skin-like effect to it, except it's a little bit more shimmery. So if you don't like shimmery formulas, you probably won't like this. But when you see it like this, you're like, this almost gives you like a highlight effect. Maybe that's the better way to explain this one. This blush, though, you remember that Passion cream blush that I showed earlier? Put Passion down and then this on top of it, or even vice versa. Fucking gorgeous. Oh my god. Do y'all remember when I was using this? So good. I really like the Venetian Rose one as well, but this was the one that made me fall in love with like this formula. It's like I said, it gives you that like highlight effect to the face. So if you're not all about that life, you may not like it. And then we have what I feel was incredibly underrated, probably because of the price, but Louboutin came out with these fucking face palettes. Even the eyeshadow palette that I got, I loved it. But this specifically, I'm over here like, okay, I get it. They're expensive as fuck. But look at, first of all, the pigmentation is totally there when it comes to the blushes. These look stunning on the face. I actually used this in, I think, a new makeup release. Maybe like the worst makeup of 2021 I was using this. But the highlighter in this palette is fucking fire. That's where I'm like, listen, I get it that people don't like paying such high price points for makeup, but I give no fucks. This to me, I love like the whole vibe. It's got the spikes. This is like luxury packaging. I love this on the back as well. I love that it doesn't have stickers, but I love this little trio. I think it's just so beautiful. One of the faves. I loved it. I know it's expensive, but I regret nothing. And these do have, like, the blushes do have a slight sheen to them, but oh my god, so nice. Love it. If you want to see me use it, I'm pretty sure it was the worst makeup of 2021 was when I used those. And then I'm like running out of breath. Holy crap. Then I like to think that I'm like the queen of talking shit about this brand. So, Pat Mcgrath. I'm always saying I don't recommend paying full price for her products. One, because she always has sales, but then two, she goes and does shit like this. So she initially launched her blushes as singles. And then like a week or two later, she announced that she was coming out with these, right? Wasn't it fairly close? So it was basically like everybody had purchased, it might have been a few weeks later. It felt like everybody had purchased like the full sizes that they wanted. And then she's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to do these cute ass little fucking face palettes. I was so happy because I'm like, all right, let me try it. So the first one I picked up was, what shade is this? Galactic Sun. I mainly got this one because I saw Venice Loves. She compared this to one of my favorite blushes, which is Becca Songbird. And it looked so, like, so comparable since Becca is no longer a brand, you know? So I first got this one. Loved it. Beautiful formula. Looks incredible on my skin. I'm like, all right, finally, I found something that I love from Pat McGrath. That's a lie. I like more stuff. But, like I said, she just has sales so frequently, so I feel like I'm always trashing that aspect of it. But then I picked up the Amber Allure. Oh my god, this blush right here, I just used this recently in another video as well. I actually think I used this, and maybe I used the highlight from the Louboutin. Either way, I love her formula for these blushes. The highlighters, they're like hit or miss for me. Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't. For these face palettes, though, they do really work for my skin. And I just like the fact that she put like two blushes and a highlight so you could kind of mix them together. I really like when like brands do this type of stuff versus buying like a bunch of singles, you know? If Vive were to do something like this, I would love that for us. So I really do enjoy those. I picked them both up, I think, at 20% off as well for like the Sephora sale or something like that. I didn't pay full price for them. So that's where, again, I would just recommend wait for a fucking sale when you're shopping Pat McGrath for literally everything except for like collaborations. Because those, didn't the Bridger collection, the Bridgerton one, didn't that sell out? I think that's really the only things that's probably worth buying, like, if you're into it as soon as it launches. So then we have, I feel like I should say that these are my favorite blushes of 2021 because they just make me so happy. And I'm like, there's something so special about the Hermes blushes. Even the highlighter. Did I even pull that out today? Yes, I did. These blushes, I have to mention this as well because I wasn't sure if I was going to feature like all of my brushes. I think I'm just going to mention like brands and that's it. But this Hermes blush brush, this truly makes a difference when applying these blushes. I may be totally biased because I very much love like the Hermes aesthetic. I just think they look so bouge. But my favorite shade that I got was Rose Faux because this is my shit. I love blush colors like this. I think it's so pretty. It's almost like a burnt coral sort of a moment. But the first one that I got was, I actually got these two first. I got Rose Blush. So if you guys saw my video, these were the ones that I used in that video. And then I picked up Rose Faux later. These are like $75 a piece. They're so expensive, but because of how much I loved how they looked on my face, because these, in my opinion, are probably like the most matte, but they still look beautiful. So it was just something for me. I was like, it's so different, but I think a majority of it was it's Hermes and it's bougie and I love it. So this was Rose Pomade. This was the one that I preferred. No, I think it was actually Rose Blush was the one I preferred. I can't even remember. Either way, the fact that these are like $70 fucking a piece, right? Aren't they super expensive? And I bought 3. Are you kidding me? But if I had to recommend one, it's this one. So beautiful. And definitely think that this makes a big difference. And I love this aesthetic for the brush. It's so pretty. So those were all of my blushes. No, one more. This was my favorite blush of 2021. I know I could say that because I love this so much. It makes me so happy whenever I use it. But the, like, damage that I did to this year, this is, like, unheard of for me. Because I'm always bringing in new products and stuff. You could see how much I love this. This was the Chanel, the Fleur de Printemps Blush Duo. Or it's Blush and Highlight Duo. I'm pretty sure I did a dedicated video to this, or I featured it like when it first came out. This is beautiful. This is the blush that's on my face right now, aside from the polished blush with Melt Cosmetics. So I basically put this down first, and then I tapped a little bit of the Melt Cosmetics on top of it. This, it kind of gives me like Melt Polished, and also that earthy pink from Makeup by Mario. It's like same thing, just different formulas, because this is obviously a powder. But these are fantastic. I forgot to plug in my computer. Hold on, I gotta do this really quick so I don't die midstream. Hold on. I just saw my little battery button came up. Okay, we're in business. All right, so this one, if I had to pick a blush of 2021, yeah, I'm gonna go with Chanello. Okay? It's all Judy's fault. She got me obsessed with Chanel makeup. Thanks a lot, Judy. Okay, now we have highlighters. Oh, such good highlighters this year. So let's start with Scott Barnes. The Scott Barnes, what is this even called? Japanese Pearl Highlight Single in the shade Downright Dewy. I do prefer like his blush or highlight palettes more than these singles because of the packaging. But this highlight, Scott Barnes, to me, he has the most flattering formula if you have texture, but if you want something blinding, his is the formula I would go for. Just because he has such high shine, but it doesn't accentuate texture like nearly as much as any other super blinding highlighter like this. Almost like Ofra, but I feel like Ofra can slightly showcase texture. I think his are a little bit more flattering, but I'm like, this shade is gorgeous. But I don't love this like cheap ass packaging, especially for how much his makeup products are. I prefer, like I said, the blush palette or the highlighter palette. Then we have more Chanello. And this highlight, I used the shit out of this when I first got it. Like, ever since it's not as new or new anymore, I don't reach for it as often. But I still look back and I'm like, this is such a pretty, like, subtle champagne highlight. I think for me, I just like something a little bit more than this one. But if I wanted something, like, day-to-day, super flattering, I would 100% go for the Chanel. I wish that there was easier ways. Like, I wish that they would do packaging a little bit different. So it was, like, easier to tell the difference between the types of products that they are. But either way, I still think this is such a pretty formula. And then, this one's relatively new, but I'm like, as soon as I saw this, I'm like, oh yeah. Like, the first time I swatched it, I was like, this might not be great for me, but the Collidos Space Age Gifted Highlight. It looks straight up white in the pan, but when you wear this on your face, it has the most beautiful multi-chrome, just like super shifty and super intense look to it. I'm going to see if I can capture some of the shades. When I apply this to my face, though, it has the most beautiful, like, purple, pink reflect. And it's blinding. Like, this is a showstopper. And the formulas on these, like, on the Space Age, the Space Age highlighters, another one that I think is really flattering if you have textured skin. But if you like a more, like, editorial sort of a moment, like this, like I said, it's straight up multi-chrome. When I look at it on my hand right here, you see like a green shift to a pink. On your face, like, I don't notice like that green shift at all. It's stunning, but you're truly not seeing it, like how beautiful it actually is. It's so much prettier in real life. I think these are like 20 something bucks. I really like this packaging as well. But that was definitely a favorite of this year. And then, like I said, Hermes, baby. I think that everybody was so excited about this just because, mainly because it took so much longer, but just like I would say with the blushes, like I wish that the packaging was slightly different just so you could see. But this is a work of art. You know that trend on TikTok? This is a work of art. And this is bullshit. It's breathtakingly beautiful, but the more that I use it, like, I've actually used this quite a bit. I was seeing, like, not the best reviews on this one, and I'm like, what am I missing? Because I love this highlighter. It's definitely more subtle in comparison to, you know, like, Collidos and Scott Barnes. It almost reminds me of a more intense version of something like the Chanel, but I think that this looks even better when you apply it to your face. So I think that this got quite a lot of criticism as far as being like not worth the price or anything like that. I did not have that experience. I think that this was easily one of the best highlighters. And then the Makeup by Mario, the Soft Glow highlighter in the shade Golden. I think why I like this one so much is because I wasn't expecting to like it. And this formula is like silky soft. It's such a nice, beautiful, like buttery, smooth formula. It's nothing like exceptional as far as like the shade that you're getting. It kind of gives me like something similar to like Hermes, but this on the face, it just looks beautiful. It's got the most like tiny sparkles in there. It kind of, I think you know why I like it so much, it kind of reminds me of the Becca highlighters, like with how the texture of it feels, how it looks on the face. And I think why I'm so favorable towards this one is, one, because it kind of reminds me of the Hermes packaging, but I was not expecting it. Like, I had no intention on getting it. I was in store and I'm like, all right, let me try it. But I do think that this translates so much prettier when you actually apply it to your face. So that was definitely one of the favorites. But if I had to pick a favorite highlighter of 2021, is anyone going to be surprised when I say Dior? The Dior, what is this called? The Dior Forever Couture Luminizer in the shade 03 Pearlescent Glow. It looks straight up white in the packaging. Oh my god. You know how when I talk about Fenty, I talk about the like Edward Cullen skin effect? This gives me very much that vibe, except it's even prettier because of the formula. It's an actual powder formula, but this is like straight up diamonds. And it has like a slight blue reflect to it, so it looks like super icy. This on fair skin, oh my god. But this is actually like, before I put that powder before I put more of the cream highlighter on top, it was basically at like the super like high point of my cheekbones right now. I fucking love this. I think so many different skin tones can use this because, like I said, it looks white, but when you put it on your face, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. This packaging is so nice. It almost feels like a pillow or like a cushion. It's so, oh my god. I was not expecting to love this nearly as much. I got this one on a whim because I picked up the shade number 1 as well. Number 1 is not nearly as impressive. It's this shade specifically, the number 3, and just how beautiful it looks on the skin. But yeah, this swatch, it says it all. If you guys have this one, please let us know. You know what? I'm going to put more of this on just so you could really see. But I'm pretty sure I like featured this in several videos, but it's just so fucking stunning. It's almost like you're applying crushed diamonds, like, right? So fucking stunning. And this, like, the formula of it is so soft. Isn't it so pretty? I can't get enough. I'm addicted and I just can't get enough. One of the favorites. It's so gorgeous. Okay, that was everything for highlighters. Now let me show you guys some eye products. Since I'm not featuring palettes today, I have to mention these two because, one, I meant to mention them in that eyeshadow palette video, but they're not palettes, so it's fine. It's easy to like transition these into here right now. I have to talk about the Tom Ford, the cream and, what is this? The cream and powder eye color. You guys like what's on my eyeballs right now? Because this, I'm also going to talk about the Auric, but there's something for me particularly special about the shade Naked Bronze. I've talked about this I've had this for years now, but this shade specifically, I don't think Auric has made a shade, at least that I haven't like compared side by side, but when I wear this, I get so many compliments. Like, people are always saying like how beautiful everything looks, and this is just look at my eyes. I don't feel like I even needed to swatch that one. So this one, it wasn't new this year, but it's still one of like my favorite, one of my most used. This is like a perfect one and done. If you want to be like out the door in like 5 minutes, but you want to look like really done up. You just pop it on your eyes, you pop the powder on top, and you're set to go. Like, it's super easy to use. But I have to also mention the Auric, the Smoke Reflex, because these came out, I'm pretty sure, this year. For me, like, the packaging of the Auric is so much better because it's actually glass. Like, this to me is more luxurious than the Tom Ford. But the Auric, in the shade Ego, there is, to me, like, nothing like it. It's so fucking stunning. I've worn this on several different occasions, and people are always complimenting this as well. Just because of how unique this is. It's so, so pretty. I don't feel like this one got nearly the hype that it deserves. They also launched, like, holiday ones this year, like that beautiful green and the beautiful burgundy. I still think Ego is my favorite, just because it's like when you put it on your eye, the way that it translates is, it's just so unique, and it's so, so pretty. I'm going to show you guys swatches of this one as well. So it's like when you see these, like, it looks like nothing impressive. It's when you put it on your eye and then you layer them together, it's fucking stunning. I love these so much. But my most used is definitely Naked Bronze. I feel like I'm wearing this, like, all the time, and people are always asking, what's on your eyes? And most of the time, it's fucking Naked Bronze. So those are just little, like, one and done sort of a moment for eyeshadows. But that's all we're going to talk about for eyeshadows today. Now let's talk about some lip products. No, we'll finish up the eyes, then we'll get into lip products. Are you guys having fun yet? I see that there's 110 thumbs ups. Come through. Because this is where it's about to get really fun. Oh, wait, I got also... How do I want to do this? Let's do face, like, setting sprays. So, I don't think either one of these are brand new for this year, but these are probably, like, my most used as far as... I kind of fell back in love with them. The Rare Beauty, the... What's this even called? The Always an Optimist 4-in-1 Mist. This is the mist that I like for spraying, like, between layers. Like how I was saying with the Westman Atelier, the contour stick, I'll, like, spray my face, blend it out. I don't like this for a, like, finishing spray. I like this for just to make everything look more skin-like, because there is something so magical about this facial spray specifically. But if I want something for longevity, I would reach for either Urban Decay All Nighter, which that's the one I've been using more recently, but the Charlotte Tilbury, the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, I just picked up the mini during the last VIB sale. And this is, like, it's hairspray for your face. It's crazy. Like, my makeup lasts so long between All Nighter and the Charlotte Tilbury. And even, like, the Skindinavia Bridal Spray. Those are easily my favorites still. But as far as something that was, like, newer, because I've only ever purchased, like, the small sizes of the Charlotte Tilbury. So the fact that I picked it up again, because it was, like, I think they had, like, a holiday duo set or something like that. So I was like, yeah, why not? Let me get that. Thank you so much. So that's it for setting sprays, were those ones. Then let's talk about brows really quick. So for brows, nothing for me. The fact that I have fucking 4 of these in my collection right now should tell you everything that you need to know. Huda Beauty, hands down, slayed the game for eyebrows for me this year. This is what's on my brows right now. This is the Huda Beauty, I think they're just called the Bomb Brows. It's basically like the super precise, like, brow pencil. Again, I have fucking 4 of these. The only downfall is I go through them really quickly, which is why I have 4 of them. But every single time that I run out, I basically buy 2. Just because of how fast I do go through them. At a $17 price point, I don't love that for me. But at the end of the day, it's literally the most precise brow pencil aside from Hourglass, but I think that I get more precision out of the Huda Beauty. It's so good. The GOAT for me for my eyebrows. Then I was like, all right, since I love the Bomb Brows so much, let me try the Huda Beauty, the Bomb Brows, the Full and Fluffy Brow Gel. I also really like the, what is it? The Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brows, the Micro Precision Tinted Brow Gel. So these were my 2 favorites for like 2 very different reasons. If I want more coverage, like if I'm finding that like the areas are really sparse or I just want to fill in just a little bit more, basically like if I'm just having a day and I don't fucking feel like doing my brows, I will reach for the Huda just because I feel like I get more coverage with this one. Where I do prefer the Charlotte Tilbury is for like, this is so excessive. I still really love both. But my favorite thing about the Legendary brows is how it makes, like, the inner part of my brow more, like, feathery looking. It makes everything look a lot more soft. So it's almost like it gives a more blended look, especially when I'm trying to get, like, kind of the ombre effect, you know? But I also really like the fact that Huda, like, it matches my brow pencil, like, perfectly because the shades are the same. So I really like both of these. Don't need both of them. I'll use one or the other, but it's more of how everything's looking that day, you know? So I think Huda was fucking nailing it. But Charlotte Tilbury came through a little bit as well. So I really love those for my eyebrows. And then for mascara, did I pull out? I know I just had it out. I just freaking used it, but I think I forgot to pull it out really quick. I'm going to talk really quick about lashes. So my favorite lash curler, rougher. This lash curler for me is basically like a better version of the Shiseido. I think everything is just like everything's really high quality and it works perfectly, but I feel like for how much I've used this year, it still looks in like brand new condition. Like I feel like the craftsmanship is just like 10 out of 10 for the rougher lash curler, and the fact that you can get this like half off in the concept store most of the time. I am a fucking rougher stan. I love like everything that they do, especially their eye brushes. But when it came to mascara this year, like it's very hard for me to be blown away by a mascara because I prefer tubing mascaras because my eyes are so sensitive. So I'm always trying different ones, but it always seems like these tubing mascaras, they always have plastic applicators and they really irritate my eyes. So I tried the Velour, the Pretty Big Deal Peptide and Tubing Mascara 3-in-1 Lash Serum. I have not noticed anything as far as like growth of my lashes or anything like that. The main thing I love about this is the fact that it's tubing mascara and it's not a super liquidy formula. Like I tried the, what was it, Blink I think it was. That formula was just like a hot mess. I applied it and it transferred everywhere because it was so liquidy. But this applicator, it's basically like, it's an actual brush, which I like. It's not plastic. But for the bottom lashes, because it's got this like little curve to it, having a little curve is never a bad thing, am I right? So that little curve, it allows me to get basically like my lower lashes so much easier than any other mascara because I have very short, like, in my opinion, trash lashes. They're there, but they're not great. But I feel that this one, besides like the Clinique bottom lash mascara, I can get my lashes the best with this one. And it's just because of that little curve, and I'm just like, whoop, whoop, whoop. Just super easy, and the fact, again, it's a tubing mascara automatically makes me more favorable towards it. Just because it wipes off, like, and I don't want to sit there and scrub my eyes. That's just, I can't be bothered, and my eyes just cannot take it anymore. So I love, love, love that mascara. And then as far as, like, false lashes go, because, again, my lashes are trash, I love falsies. Kiss 11s, Kiss 01s are still, like, my favorites. But I recently tried, or not recently, this year I tried the Vive half lashes. If I had to pick probably a most worn lash, I have HL2 is probably at the top because I feel like I wore these a lot. I'm wearing the shade HL1, which I think that these were like the first styles that launched, and I still have them, and I've worn them so many damn times. These ones are just much more like natural. They're just fluttery and wispy. That's everything that I look for. As I want the taper, I want them to be fluttery, but the HL2 lashes are a lot more dramatic. So for me, if I'm wearing something that's more of like what I'm wearing today, obviously I'm going to go for something that's less dramatic. But half lashes though, this was the very first time I've ever tried half lashes. How fucking easy that these are to apply is ridiculous. Like, I felt like everything just was easier when I used these ones. So I really love the Vive half lashes. And then I came across the House of Lashes Iconic Lights. Another one I feel like I remember Jaclyn Hill back in the day when I used to watch her all the time. She always wore iconic lashes. Those are way too much for me, but the Iconic Lights, it's basically like the same style. It's got the taper, it's got the flutter on the outer corner, but they're not as dramatic. These are perfect lashes for me, but they're more for if I want something more dramatic. And then one of my favorite brands for like more dramatic lashes, I love Makeup Geek, but I also love Lily Lashes. I especially love when Ulta does their 21 Days of Beauty and they go on sale for half off. So I picked up quite a few different styles, but as far as quality, I think Lily Lashes has some of the best as far as quality. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I've worn the Lily Lashes NYC lashes before I actually have to throw them out. Even Scott Barnes lashes are fantastic, but if I had to pick like a favorite dramatic, I would probably go for Lily. If I wanted something super easy yet still dramatic, I would go for the half lashes just because it's so easy to apply these. And then, again, Kiss 11's, House of Lashes. I really love lashes, but I think that lashes are so personal for, like, what your preferences are. So that's where I'm like, take my word for it. But you could say that about, like, literally everything when it comes to makeup. And then let's get into lip products. I'm pretty sure that's all I have left is lip products. So, oh no, I have eyeliners. Let's do eyeliners, then we'll do lips, just so we get like all of the eye stuff out of the way, I guess, or all of the other makeup aside from lips out of the way. So let's talk about some amazing eyeliners, then we'll do lip liners. Makeup Geek. Makeup Geek liners are so fucking pigmented, it's ridiculous. My favorite one from them is their Nude. This one's actually new because I had their retractable one first. Did you see that pigmentation in one swipe? That's how it applies to your lash line. For me, these last so long, like all day in my lash line. And it's the pigmentation that it makes me just go whoop, and that's all that I need to do. I don't need to sit there and like line back and forth, back and forth. Incredible. And it's like a creamy formula, but once it sets, it does not budge. At least it doesn't for me. Really, really love Makeup Geek, and they're super inexpensive. And then another favorite for me for this year was the Gucci, the Stylo Contour Long Lasting Kohl Liner. This is another one. It's this shade specifically. Like, they have like all your like basic ass liner colors, like black, brown, all that stuff. But this one, it's a beautiful, basically like a pastel blue, which I love pastel liners. I just broke it. I, like, scrolled up too much. I love pastel liners for me because it makes my eyes look more bright and awake. Another formula, it lasts a really long time in my lash line. And the fact that it's Gucci, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, I love it. And then I just thought that this color was super unique. So that's mainly like what I look for when it comes to eyeliners. I'm looking for, like, color specific, right? Like the pastels, like I said. Another one is the Norvina from Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Chroma Sticks in the shade Pastel Pink. This one I found maybe like a month or two ago. This one, again, it's a color specific thing because one of my favorite eyeliners was the Marc Jacobs Pink of Me liner, and you can't get that anymore. This is, I think, the closest thing that I found that it has that true pastel pink. I do find that it works better though when you like warm it up on your hand first and then apply it. But once this is in my eyes, it does not budge at all. So that one, again, shade specific for Pink of Me. I haven't heard the best reviews on like the rest of that collection. But then if I'm looking for black, brown, basically like any color that's deep, I go for Wayne Goss. I have literally all of the eyeliners that he's done because he just makes some of my favorites, especially the black liner because it's just super black, and his browns. Black and brown are my favorites just because it's really easy to apply, but especially for a brown eyeliner. Every other company that I've ever tried for a brown either isn't pigmented enough, so I have to keep swiping and swiping and swiping, or it'll be in my lash line for about 5 seconds, and then it's like, bitch, where did it go? So I think Wayne Goss definitely does the best liners as far as browns, blacks. He even has like a beautiful eggplant. He's got like a sapphire, which is like a deep navy blue. Really, really beautiful. So I still really love his, and I felt that it was appropriate to mention that because basically like every palette that he launches more. But he doesn't make anything like these. So that's where, again, very shade specific for what exactly I'm looking for. And then eyeliners, as far as like liquid liners, in my opinion, if you're like into like a wing liner, there is nothing better than the Tom Ford one. This isn't new. I've had this for years, but this is still the best, simply because I've had this for years and it still is not dried out. This is 1,000% worth every penny, especially if you do a wing all the time. But what was it actually called? Hold on. The eye defining pen. So it's basically got two different applicators. I like this one just because I like a brush tip applicator. I need to probably buy another one though, just because I've had that for like way too long. So then I have to talk about this as well because I thought this was just like a game changer for me. So I don't do like a lash line. Like I don't use liquid liners all that much. But when I was, it was this. And this is the Kiss Glue Liner. So it's basically an eyeliner, but it's a lash glue. And oh my god, did this change the fucking game for applying false lashes? Like, if you struggle with false lashes and you have like a steady enough hand where you can do like, basically like line right on your lash line, basically like how you would do like a wing liner. And if you have a hard time, your lashes will stick to this. 100%. And it's from Kiss. It's super inexpensive. They sent this to me and I'm just like, bitch, this is amazing. And it's like super duper black. I don't think it looks the best for if you're trying to do a wing and then use that wing for your liner. I basically think you need to lay this down first, pop your lash on, and then basically create the wing with a different product, just because as it sets, it doesn't look like seamless. I don't do that all the time anyways, so it doesn't bother me at all. This, it's more of like, I just do like a really thin line up here and I'll pop my lash on and I'm like, oh shit, game changer, especially if you have a hard time applying lashes. So this one, definitely recommend. Amanda said Kiss makes a clear one also. I like black liners just because I think it looks more seamless. But that's just a my preference thing. I used to use only clear before because I wasn't as experienced. But as I got more experienced, when I add, even like when I do regular lash glue, I'll use black because I just think it just looks more seamless to me. And it looks more like completed. Because some of the lashes that I use, they've got like basically like the lash bands where you could see like it's a really, almost like a clear lash band, but you could see like almost like the gaps with the lashes, if that makes sense. Either way, it's personal preference thing. But if you were interested and you like clear, supposedly they have a clear one. So thank you, Amanda. And then now we can get into lip products. So guys, if you haven't liked this video yet, you should. Let me take a drink and then we'll get into lip liners. So the first one, oh, I was looking for it earlier and I forgot to grab it. Hold on. My most used one, if you know, you know. Am I going to be able to find it right here? My most used lip liner of all time, Makeup Forever. Here's the deal with lip liners. It's very hard to fuck these up, in my opinion. Like, I'm over here like, honestly, how? But it's also really difficult to like blow me away with a lip liner. Here's why Makeup Forever makes my favorite. Is because it goes on creamy, and this lasts me forever. Goes on creamy, super pigmented, but as it sets down, this lip liner ain't going fucking nowhere. It's called the Aqua Lip, and I feel like that's the most perfect name for it because the only thing that's going to take this off is like a cleansing oil or something like that. Like, it's not going to just wipe away. Again, one of my favorites. Most repurchased, most used. I love that one. I have the shade 14C, which is Chef's Kiss. Then I have my Vive liners. I feel like Vive BRIT was probably second to Aqua Lip. This was my most used. Just because I love something that looks almost like a My Lips but better. But I also prefer, look how similar these are. It's like, I just prefer like a nude pink. That's just my jam. Even if I'm wearing something that doesn't even look the same, But I have 3 of these now. Another one, it goes on really creamy. Once it sets down, it doesn't budge for me. But I think that I still prefer the Aqua Lip more. But again, it's very difficult to blow me away with a lip liner. And then the other ones that I wanted to feature, mainly because of the price of these and the quality, they're super creamy, but I don't really notice like the longevity aspect of these like I do with the pencil liners, because I do prefer a lip liner that you sharpen rather than something that's retractable. But the BK Beauty, the Everlast lip liners, these are also fantastic. I really like how these pair with the lipsticks that they launched this year. So my favorite of these ones was Sweet Pea. I'll give you guys a swatch of this one as well. This kind of reminds me of lip liners that we've seen from, I think it's like L'Oreal, but you see how similar all those are? They all look like the same, but I'm a creature of habit, okay? I like what I like. So those ones I do really enjoy. And then let's segue into lipsticks. And then, well, actually, you know what? We'll just start with BK Beauty, because these ones came out the gate like guns blazing. I was not prepared for how much I was going to love these. My favorite shade that I got was, these were all sent to me, but Acceptance. Where is it? I cannot get over, like, let me put those over there before I drop them. I cannot get over how much I wore this lipstick when I got it. Because I'm always bringing in product, it's very unlike me to consistently use products like day after day after day. I went like a whole fucking week with wearing this same lipstick. I would just change the lip liner underneath it. This is going to be, in my opinion, one of the most like flattering looking lipsticks as far as not accentuating the lines on your lips. If anything, it's going to make your lips look more like smooth. Fucking gorgeous. I'm going to say it's like a satin formula, but it's one of those satin formulas you do need to build it up and build it up. It's not like one swipe full pigment like other ones that I'm going to talk about today. But Acceptance is incredible. I swatched them all in, I think, like my previous video because we got chitty-chatting about them. Acceptance, though, is my shit. I really, really love those, and I love the packaging that they did for those. It's got the magnetic closure. It's just, like, sleek. It's cute. I love those. And then, one of my other favorite brands for lipsticks is Propa Beauty. These launched last year, but they launched new shades this year. So I think they launched, like, 4 or 5 more shades. These two I was so excited about because I typically don't go for brown nudes, but I understand, like, why they make the shades that they do. Because they're basically designing nudes for deeper skin tones. So these launched. These were, let's see, the shade Prime Time. This is another formula. It's like, you definitely need to build it up to get the full pigmentation that you're looking for. Let me do these on my hand just so you can actually see, like, what they look like. But just be careful. They're very, very soft. This almost looks like what I'm wearing on my lips, but this is not what I'm wearing. But my favorite of the ones that launched this year was Moxie. This is just my type of lip color. It's got, like, a really beautiful, like, hint of pink in there, but it's so not, oh, it's so good. Finesse is still probably, like, my all-time favorite, but I loved seeing that they went with, like, reds, pinks. Like, I love this brand, and they're so inexpensive. Definitely recommend. Propa Beauty. I have an affiliate link with them down below, but these, I was just like, oh shit, they're doing more! Yes! But very, very satin, like, juicy lipstick. Beautiful formula. I love it so much. Let me wipe these off, and then let me go with, which ones do I want to do next? Let's do some Chantecaille, because this is definitely more, like, specific for time of the year for me. I wore this so much in the springtime. This is the Chantecaille, the Lip Chic in the shade Cappuccine. This actually launched with the Flower Power Powder. Flower Power Powder. There you go. I'm like, did I say that right? Look at it. I'm even still, like, trying to get all this, all of the swatches off my hand. So, Cappuccine. Every time I wore this when I first got it, I gotta let that dry down a little bit more. I would always get questions like, what's that on your lips? What is it? Because this is just, oh my god. The Lip Chic and Lip Val formulas, I love a satin lip. I love a juicy looking lip. And the fact that this is like a hot orange, even using this as like a cheek, like a cream blush. Fucking gorgeous. Again, packaging is beautiful. This is almost like the BK Beauty packaging, except theirs is a little bit bigger and it's just pink instead of orange. I love the lip cheeks though. And then we have Juvia's Place. I couldn't remember if these launched this year or last year, but if I'm looking for a matte formula, these, I don't even know what these are even called. I think they're just like, they're lipsticks, but this shade specifically is a Mauve Moment. Oh my god. I love like the structure of the bullet on this. It's super different, but this is one that's like one swipe application, but it's a true matte formula. I really enjoy these Juvia's Place lipsticks, but this is the shade specifically that I really like this year. And then also Natasha Denona, the I Need a Nude lipstick in the shade Amorosa. Oh my god. Remember when this launched, guys? I love the packaging on this. That pink packaging is so beautiful, but even this shade, it's super different for me. Look how beautiful. I love the fact that it's like pink, but it's more brown than I'm used to. I love this formula. The I Need a Nudes, definitely a bomb-ass lipstick formula. I feel like I'm flying through lipsticks, but it's fine. Next one. This, I heard so much hype over these Too Faced Lady Bold lipsticks. As soon as I saw them in store, I'm like, I get it. Because this, y'all ready? I have the shade Comeback Queen. Ready? The pigmentation is so fucking real. It's ridiculous. Like, this reminds me so much of my favorite Nars Audacious formula. Oh my god. And then this shade, I loved it. Just because I'm like, it's just different. It's different for what I usually go for. This would be a collection, though. I would love to own all of them because I love this packaging. I love the formula. It's just a really long-lasting formula for a lipstick for me. And it's not a matte, but it's not a set. And it's like, I would lean more for a satin because it does have a slight sheen to it, but it's still like, it's kind of like in the middle. Really beautiful formula. These are definitely worth the hype, though. I feel like a lot of like bigger creators were really raving about those. And then, because I'm biased AF, I have to mention the House of Sillage, the Disney collection. I'm such a sucker. But let me tell you what. If I had to pick a brand to do a Disney collab, because I feel like we're all friends here, right? We've all talked about Disney and like all these collabs so much. It's a very like specific thing for me. Like, you cannot disappoint with a Disney. You know, Disney's iconic, you know? So I feel like House of Sillage blew it out of the fucking park. Like, just because I feel like Disney should be something that's like an experience. It should be like luxurious. And I feel like House of Sillage, they really fucking nailed it. Like, this packaging is so beautiful. I have it backwards. But look, it's like the details that went into this. It's luxurious. And then they launched this fucking bow. I'm so grateful that they sent this to me because I'm like, oh my god, I know they're so expensive, but like, are you kidding me? Another product that it's like, when I tell you that this could be a weapon, it's insane. Just, again, the quality. I'm so fucking impressed with how well they did this collection. And I'm just going to feature this now because it's technically a lip gloss, but it was part of this collection as well. This is something like, again, the packaging, I typically don't like gloss formulas that you have to continuously like go in, swatch it, go in again. I don't love this applicator, but this gloss, can we talk about it? Because first of all, it smells like the Wonder Woman perfume or like the Wonder Woman candle. I don't have the, because they launched a fragrance with this collection as well. I don't have that one, but this, I was just like, the scent, the look of this on the lips is so beautiful. I did a whole dedicated video to this collection, and it's just, the Disney lover in me fucking lived, breathed, and died for that collection. I thought they did it so well because I'm so critical about when brands do these types of collabs. So then I have to mention these as well because let me tell you what, every time I wear these fucking lipsticks, everyone's asking me what's on your lips. With one shade specifically, so the shade Mona, this is actually what's on my lips today. I don't get as many requests when I wear this one, but Nars Audacious is the go of all lipsticks. They're just so beautiful. And then the fact they have this like beautiful detail, this was from the holiday collection that just came out. Nars was fucking up with this collection, but I love like the silver packaging. It's just super beautiful. But this shade right here, everyone, everybody is always asking me, what's on your lips? What's on your lips? And the shade Augustine is pure perfection. It's just, this is another one, just like the Too Faced. It's one swipe application, like, and the finish on these, this is more of a satin finish in my opinion. Gorgeous. Oh, Nars Audacious is still like favorite formula of all time because I love the fact I don't have to keep going like this. It's just whoop, 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 done. Full pigment, stunning. And then I also love the packaging. So that was it for my lip. No, I have one more lipstick. I have another brand that's so expensive. We talked about this brand already, but I love Hermes lipsticks so much. And this is another formula. They remind me so much of the Nars Audacious because they have that really intense pigmentation, except it's not as intense as the Nars. So it's a little bit more buildable, but this is the shade 50 Rose Zinzalin. This is the satin lipstick. I initially got this one. Or no, I initially got this one, I think. I can't remember. I got one or the other first, and because I like the formula so much, I got more. So this was the first one I think I got. I think I got this in Miami, and then, yes, that is correct. And then I got the shade 49 Matte Rose Tamise. This was from, I think, their fall collection, but this is technically a matte finish. This is not matte. I'm just like, Hermes, that's not matte. It's to me, it's like a satin. I could see where it's more matte than the satin finish, but oh my gosh, I love the shade. I feel like I get a lot of compliments on this one as well. But you see, it's like, it's got the pigmentation, but you could definitely build it to get more coverage. This shade is such a beautiful fall lipstick. I love it with my whole life. Packaging is 20 out of 10. It comes in like a little like burlap little sack. It's really cute. But those were all of my favorite lipsticks. Now we're going to do some liquid lipsticks. We're almost there, guys. We're almost to the end. Are you guys enjoying yourself? This video is so long. I feel like I've been talking for way too long. But liquid lipsticks. All right, let's start with one of my well, all of these are like my faves, but another one that I think Nars did really well this year was the Air Matte Lip Color. I picked up the shades Pin Up and also, what's this one? Thrust. Thrust was the first one that I got, and because I loved it so much, I ended up getting more. So Thrust, it's just, for me, I like this for like a fall sort of a vibe, but this formula, it's a more buildable formula. Once it dries down, to me it wasn't like a, I think this is more of like a comfortable matte liquid lipstick. It does dry down my lips like a little bit more, but then the shade Pin Up, I love this. It kind of reminds me of like a liquid lip version of the shade Mona. Maybe a little bit more orange. But this is a more like sheer coverage liquid lipstick. Like I think you need to build this one a little bit more than some other ones that I'm going to talk about. But I really love the shades of these. I think that they're just like a really, almost like wearable. I hate that word because it's like you can wear whatever the fuck you want. But it's like a good stepping stone, I think, into liquid lipsticks. I don't think it's like my favorite, but I was like, all right, Nars, I'm into these. I like these. I like the packaging. I like the colors that they offer because they're approachable. That's the word I was looking for. For being a liquid lipstick, they're very approachable because I feel like they have shades that are like something that people would feel really comfortable wearing. Whereas some of these other ones, people might be like, there's no way that I'm wearing those. But as far as like a more approachable line, I think these Scott Barnes, the Lip Fetish Liquid Matte Lips, this is where this fucks me up a little bit, because this formula is so different than what I typically like, because this is going to be one of those formulas that definitely dries down and it's going to feel more drying on your lips. But this trips me out because every time I wear these, people always ask what I'm wearing. Every single time. I think it's mainly like the shades that he has or the shades that he offers. So that one is Keep It Coral. I wish I had like a tally on how many times I've been asked. And then I just picked up recently Undercover Lover. Anytime, even on a TikTok, like everybody's like, okay, cool, but what's on your lips? That's where I'm like, all right, these, I'm not like a big fan of how drying they feel, but I'm a big fan of the shades that he offers. And that's the shade Undercover Lover. So it's definitely more pink. But there's something about them that I love it. And I think the packaging that they come in is super cute, but they're definitely more on the Spency side. So those were two formulas that I also really love. And then I was gifted, actually all three of these, and another introduction into Chanello. I love these for brides because it's like, first of all, it's bougie. So I can't remember if I got these this year or last year. This is another formula, though. It's going to feel more drying, and I think that it's a more, like, sheer coverage sort of a finish. I'm going to give you guys swatches of all these. My most used is definitely Tender Beige. Like, this before another line that I'm going to talk about, this was what I always used for when I was filming weddings, because I think that these last so long and so nicely, and they just look so beautiful on the lips. But it's because they come with like this lip gloss on the other side is why I think they're so ideal for brides, because most brides have like a clutch with them during the day or something, and it's like you have like your 2-in-1 sort of a moment. So these are the shades that I have, these three right here: Tender Beige, Chic Rosewood, and Soft Coral. So Tender Beige is the middle one. But they're just, again, it's a very approachable sort of a vibe, I think, but mainly like bridal makeup. I think that these are fantastic. And like the gloss that's on the other side is super shiny. It's just a clear gloss. Really beautiful lip formula. I think I did find these last year though, or they were sent to me last year, but I really wore the shit out of them before I came across the liquid lipsticks that I think are so incredibly underrated that it's ridiculous. The Unearthly Cosmetics, or they're now known as, they're now known as Unearthly Cosmetics. They were formerly Alien Cosmetics. These are my most used lip products of 2021. I fucking love these. So if you have purchased these liquid lips off of my recommendation, please let people know. These are so slept on. It's ridiculous. So my most used shade of 2021 was 1000% Eerie. But this is the brand I'm like, all right, I used to wear Chanel all the time, but then as soon as I came across these I wore every single wedding that I filmed. Eerie was my most worn, which is this one right here. There's something about this formula that makes your lips look even more smooth. These are just so fucking good. So this is the shade, I think it's Autumn. So I really like to mix Eerie and Autumn together. So those are those two right there. And then Leaves is my other favorite. I wore this one quite a bit as well. I was just wearing this one the other day as well. How many times can I say as well? Boom. Those are the three. I love them all. They're all incredible. Do not sleep on these liquid lipsticks. And they're like $12 or something like that. They're super inexpensive. A must try. An absolute must try. Like, I love them so much. They chill in this little cup that sits on my desk. And because I'm like, all right, when I don't know what to wear, I immediately reach for them. And it's mainly because comfort, how they make my lips look, and they last all fucking day. They're incredible. So then, we're over here minding our own business, and then Amanda's out there like, oh, you guys really like those, so let me give you more liquid lipsticks. So these are the satin liquid lipsticks. I don't think that these are as long lasting as the originals. Like, I think I would still prefer the originals over these ones, but I still really enjoy these because the colors of these are so nice. So again, these are the satin lipsticks. I have the shade, I have all of them. They were all sent to me. But my favorites are Diana. They're just such unique colors that I'm like, I feel like I have not seen any other like company do shades quite like these. I did a dedicated TikTok swatching these on my lips, and I'm just like, every fucking color looks so good. And I just think that the way that she designed these to be mixed all together is so smart. But that is the shade Angela. I've been wearing the shit out of that one. I really like mixing Angela with Diana. I think that's a really nice color combo. But my favorite of all of them is 100% Kaylana. Oh, I love this one so much. It makes me so happy to see like an indie brand out there fucking killing it. Look at how unique that shade is though. But again, these are not as long lasting. They're a little bit more comfortable on the lips, but they feel almost a little bit like thicker. They still have that same sort of like it makes your lips look more perfected. Like, you cannot see lip lines with any of the Unearthly Cosmetics lip products. It's just like, where did they go? Everything just looks so much more like plump and just perfect. I cannot talk enough great things about their lip products, but if I had to recommend, if you want something more long lasting, go for the original. These do transfer as well, so just be mindful that it's just different. This is almost like if you were to take a lipstick and actually melt it down into a liquid formula, that's more of like what these give me. But I also really love both, so it's fine. So I think that was it for my liquid lipsticks, and now we have some glosses. And you know what? Pat McGrath. Pat McGrath, this is one thing I think she does incredibly well, is her lip gloss formulas. I love these so much. I picked up 2 shades, Angelic and also Earth Angel, but I have to say, it's only the Lust glosses that I love. The Opulous ones are not my favorite. The one that I'm wearing today is Naked Rose. I love buying these, like, mini size ones. Like, they come in, like, a pack of 3 with all the sequins and shit. I love her glosses. Literally, I think, if I had to pick a favorite gloss formula, I think it might be Pat McGrath or my boo, Scott Barnes. This was from the, I think this was technically holiday last year. Or no, this was summertime. This was like his summer collection. But these are still available. I never used to like the applicators that were like an actual brush. I love these so much. Because for being like a brush applicator, it's so precise. And it just picks up the perfect amount of product. But it's the juicy factor. These are, I think, like if I had to pick a gloss that gives me like the most juiciness and sparkle, I'm going with Scott Barnes. So these are my favorite. My like top worn one is Blondie. Surprise, surprise. It's just like a basic ass lip gloss. It's almost like a beigey pink, but it's got sparkle in it. 20 out of 10. Could not say enough good things about his gloss formulas. I do think that I like, because he did like that marshmallow, like where it was like a bunch of minis. I like these better than that little kit. Like there was one in the minis that I was like, oh yeah, this is really nice. But the other formulas of the different shades, it felt different than like what those give me. Because these have like the tiny like sparkles and stuff. And I just really like that because it makes everything look even more juicy. So I really, really love Scott Barnes glosses. And then I also have to mention the Tower 28, the Shine On Lip Jelly in the shade Chestnut. This was new for this year. This launched with, what was it? The Chill Gloss. And then with the, what do you call it? The Sunny Days Tinted Sunscreen. There we go. Another just super shiny formula. These are so comfortable on the lips too. Like, I love how it has like that gel feel to them. But again, just super duper shiny. I love the shade of this one. Tower 28 just makes one of my favorite glosses. And then I also really love the Cosmetics, the Morning Dew lip gloss. It's basically just a clear lip gloss, but Morning Dew, like the amount of shine that this clear gloss has. It's another formula I think I have to build like a little bit more than I like to, but so shiny. It's so beautiful. Let me swatch the Tower 28 one on my hand as well, just so you can kind of see a little bit better, so you're not right over my tattoo. But the Tower 28 ones are definitely going to have a little bit more pigment. So it's all going to come down to preference. But you see how much, like, how much shinier that is than the Tower 28? Like, I feel like the Tower 28 does give a lot of shine, but Morning Dew is just, like, another fucking level. So, I think after all of that, everybody, fuck, I have been talking for so long. Did y'all enjoy yourselves today? Because, oh my god, there was honestly so much great makeup this year, and I feel like I really found, like, my makeup aesthetic. So if there's anything you guys would want to see videos on for 2022, or anything that you'd like to see me do a little bit different, I'm very curious, but I'm just excited. It's a new year, and I want to hear in the comment section, what are your guys' favorite products of 2021? Because your girl's nosy. So if you guys did enjoy today's video, don't forget to, 1, subscribe, click the bell, thumbs up the video or thumbs it down. That's cool too. If you're watching the live chat, if you're watching the replay, I appreciate all of you, especially if you're hate watching. And make sure you guys are following me on TikTok and Instagram, okay? And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys comment what your favorite products were, because, you know, new year, new products to buy. And I will see you guys in my next one. Okay, bye!